you only had one job, Shinobu Otaka, and that was to deliver something for me that I would be excited for. I am happy to announce that Orient is, yes, it was what I was exactly looking for, and I am so excited. It feels like it hasn't been that long since we talked about Magi, how we've like talked about how much I missed it and I love the series, and well, to see her trying something new, trying a brand new work, brings, I'd like to say, joy. Like, it's really happy. Like, it's been a while where I've like seen like, oh, something's coming out. I need to know when this is coming out right now. There's a chapter out. Someone hits me up. Yo, you do know the chapter's out right now. And I'm like, just to get everything. Fuck that. I'm calling in sick to work. I need to read this shit. Obviously, I didn't do that. I'm put priorities. But now that I finally had a chance to talk about Orient, Shinobu's new series, I definitely want to do that. So, for a little bit of context to some of you people, why exactly am I kind of hyping this up or already, even after just one chapter, is mainly because the author was the creator of like two series that I've kind of read a bit. One I haven't fully finished yet, which is Sumomomo Momomo, which is pretty fun little comedy with a bit of martial arts mixed into it. And the other is Magi, or Magi the Labyrinth of Magic, as most people are known for, which is her standout series, which is utterly fantastic. While I feel like it has one or two little weak moments on there, I love the art style, I love like the Arabian theme that it had, I absolutely adored its characters, some of its interesting concepts of magic, and I was like, the fact that she is coming back with a new work has me excited. I want to see what more that she has to offer, like, especially where it's like, you've gave me some cool characters to like, and like even from like the very first early chapters of Magi, I was like, no, this is going to be something a little bit special, and I want to see more of it. And I really hope that this is going to be the case then for Orient. When I was very like interesting, like, okay, what's this one going to be about? And what we get to know is that this is going to be a Sengoku era, like kind of fantasy battle series. Although when I went to check up Orient as well, I noticed as well with some of the some of the things that she has in her art style and some of the characters, and also as well with like some of the drawings that she has, there is still some Arabian themes mixed in with them. And like definitely I think like the word Orient comes from like Arabian. I believe that was like some sort of religious thing, and especially when we see like the giant scroll as well, that comes from like a part of it. So like if anyone actually has some more information, because I know a lot of people was describing a lot of the stuff in the world of Magi, and it's like this is actually like some like religious like symbolry, and it's like Shinobu actually took time to like research this shit. So it's like, no, this isn't offensive, this is being used for the correct pronunciation and meaning for it. And when we get to find this one, we're going to be focusing on two main characters, and that is like our main dude who, to be fair, like Musashi, like you get to see him as a 15-year-old, and like his best friend Kojiro, and these two are like training, going at each other like when they're like 10 years old, 8, 9, like or so, and it's like, look, we want to be these guys known as Bushis, and Bushis, from what we are told at, is that they are here to exterminate things known as Onis. These monsters and all that are pretty much taken over the world as they know, which I believe is called Hinomoto, was the name. It's like, we get to strike them, we can liberate the entire world, and we can be these like cool heroes, and we can fight alongside our comrades, and it's like, we're gonna do this. And it's like, look, one day and all that, we're gonna leave this town, we're gonna slay together. And it's like, we see 5 years later, like you see him like kind of developing himself. He's like, I'm gonna be, I still have the same dream and all that, that I'm gonna be with my friend and all that, with Kojiro. And then it's like, I'm a miner. No, never mind, I'm holding just a giant pickaxe, which, by the way, the thing, I was like, is that a fucking pickaxe? Because the thing is a scythe. It is massive. It is like ridiculously stupid. And by a weird event, 5 years like during this and all that, where like it seems like, considering that like a lot of people now are like, no, Onis are great, we love them. Like, although we got the like whole talking about with like as they were kids, but he's now working for them. Like, they're considered like Bushis are considered like these horrifying demons. Like, whereas like, no, these guys are the bad guys, and you see like how they're depicted on the kind of like scrolls, and it's just like these weird human samurai looking guys, and it's like, at first I was like, so wait, are we getting like a Gintama kind of effect where it's like we had this whole giant war in the background that we just don't know about, like the Amanta versus the samurai, and it's like, this is what's kind of happened, and now it's like, already, like, you can tell that it's like the victors, they tell their own story, where it's like, no, we're humble people, and it's like, you know, and that's kind of what these, like, miners do, where it's like, we make giant statues to them, we honor them, and with what we know so far, a huge energy source, and we've seen it as well on the color page, is something to revolve around these certain crystals. Now, we don't know too much so far about what exactly these crystals are and what kind of like magical like proportion or energy or whatever that is going to be around in this like universe and all that from what we can see. But we know something that with Musashi, he's just like, he hates this. He's like, even though he's like considered like the best digger, he's like, no, that, and he's digging like mad. He's like, god damn it, I was using this as an excuse to train as a bushi, and it's like, no, I'm gonna do this no matter what. And unfortunately, where it's like, oh, what is your dream and everything to do it, and he's just there like rolling the back of his eyes as everyone's like, you know, to become a miner, and he's just like, no, boo. He's trying to squeeze out like the bushi part, but he like, you can tell this is actually like he actually really hates this, and like everyone's like, no, you're great, man, and all that, you're great at digging, you're our pride and joy, and it's all we'll become miners together, and it's just like, he's hates that he's not being true to himself. And like when you see him actually go back like after like all this class and after training, you get to see his buddy Kojiro, which by the way, you just see him, he's 15, he's there, he's just smoking, he's like, yeah, how's it going, man, like, what's going on? And I'm not gonna lie, where this has been a trend with like similar designs where it's like, I can kind of see, it's not like the design itself, but it's more like the facial structure. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see a little bit of Cohen in this person with like the blonde, obviously a little bit different with the blonde hair, not really spiky, but it's like, immediately I was like, wait, is that fucking Cohen? Like, the other page, and I'm like, that is fine, because Cohen's a fucking badass, and this guy, I'm hoping that he's a badass and all that. We still don't know so little about this character, but we see that he kind of like, he doesn't seem to be doing the whole thing either, where it's just like, he's just there like lounging around, he just doesn't give a shit for the most part, and he's just like, you know, hey, look, just go back, you're gonna be graduating next week and everything, and it's just like, and the fact that like when he's talking to him and he's like, no, don't worry, man, no, we're still gonna continue our dream bushi and all that, I've got this sword, and he's like, what sword are you talking about? And he just shows him the pickaxe, and he's like, that's not a sword, that's a pickaxe, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, it's a pickaxe-shaped sword, don't worry about it, which, that comes back later in the chapter into my favourite panel, like, from there, that it's like, you know, I've been training 5 years, and he's like, just so we can ditch out of town, and we can do a couple of Sadrina, it's just like, no matter, like, he kind of actually takes this, like, as a little bit of the offense, where it's like, you know, my dad, his ancestors, they're all bushi, and they got cast out of town, like, for all these shit, like, and, like, being, like, regarded as heroes, but now it's all about, you know, everything with the Oni, and now, look at it, it's like, like, he was hearing him and all that, he's like, you have to yell it every day at school, like, you want to be a little miner, you want to be a little good boy, and it's just like, he's like, no, but I'm just training, and he's like, no, you just have to pay, like, at the end of the day, Kojiro is being a little bit of a dick to this, where it's like, you have to do lip service to see everyone, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, Musashi's like, he's trying to make it ends meet, you see, like, the difference of, like, he's making ends meet, and he's getting an education, and, like, Kojiro's there, like, fucking, he's talking like, I'm making bare meat, I'm just hanging on leftovers and shit like that, and it's just like, no, like, no matter what and all that, screw you for that, but he's like, even if that's like he's changed, he's like, he's gonna prove to him that he's serious. He's like, he does care about Musashi, because he's like, I want you to have an honest life. Like, even if like I still want to be like a bushi and I want to keep this keep this all up and all that. He's like, he considers him like a brother, and he's like, no, I want you to come a miner because that's safer for you. Which doesn't end up very well, because they're like, you guys, you're graduating, you're gonna become like great guys and all that, and it's like, oh, that's a little bit different. And then you see the two actual Onis that they are being worshipping, and it's these really, like, this is the bit that really reminds me of kind of like these Magi, like, I forget what the actual creatures were called in Magi, but they were like these really weird little demons things when we kind of went to the other side, and like, it's these two weird fat cat things with like star-shaped mouths, and like, you see that it's like they're eating people, they're slashing people up, they're giving them offerings, and they're still just killing them. It's just like, oh, good, you became slaves, you're going to be digging up stones to the great Oni until you die. And it's like, what? And it's like this horrifying visage, and it's like, And they're like, wait, we just got tricked by this? And it's like, Musashi's just like, oh, sweet, I get to take on a monster. And he's like, no, I'm going to enjoy this. And then he's like, oh, I just left my sword because they had to take all our contraband. Oh, fucking shit. Oh, God. And if it wasn't for Kojiro coming back, even though he's like, man, like, he either got all his school shit and he's got to come back for it, he actually does see, like, in his book, in his, like, training book, where it's like, no, I've actually been training to be a bushi and a samurai. And, like, even with, like, without, like, his sword, it's a scythe pickaxe, fuck it, it's sword, scythe pickaxe, whatever, like, the blade is, like, he's still trying to put up a fight against the guys, and he's just like, no matter what, I will accomplish the street. And I did like that he actually screamed it out loud, and he was taking a few hits, like, even without his blade, he's like, he was still like that, and he, like, and this is what I loved, where it's like, there's been some great, like, panels of him, like, just getting rocked and all that, and it's just like, he was, like, fooling himself around, and he was, like, afraid, because he actually didn't want to lose the friends that he had. Like, he actually enjoyed the mining stuff. He enjoyed, like, the people that he made. Even, like, with his dream with, like, Kojiro, it was like, no, he's kind of, like, was a little bit in the denial, where he's like, I lost sight of what I thought was important to me, and it's like, now I'm being conflicted like that. And at the end of the day, it's like, he's there hanging up bloody, and the guy's like, you know, just say, like, what they taught you at school, and he might spare you. And you know what? He's like, screw it. I don't care. It's like, I'm going to be a bushi. Here's the weird thing, though, because Kojiro arrives and saves his ass, but it's on a motorbike, and I'm like, what is the what is the technology of this world? Because he's in this weird-ass, like, super high-tech Blade Runner bike, and I'm like, he's got blades everywhere, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, it looks so... They described it as, like, Kitesuki, or Kitsuki, or, like, it was like, what is this? And it's just like, he throws him his sword, leads into my favorite panel, where it's just like, I'm over the moon, it's like, I'm gonna show you my, like, technique, and he's like, show you how serious I am. All his strength, he puts it into the ground, he's like, you idiot, what are you doing? And he's like, the earth is my sheath. And I'm like, what? And he's doing, like, style, like, sheath thing, you know, it's like, and he just grabs it, all his might, and it's this amazing panel of just him, like, doing a crescent slash and just destroying the fucking thing. And I'm like, this is what I love about Shinobu's art style, especially, and all that. Like, although, like, you see a lot of the time where it's like, it's a lot of it is just like the character, it's not drastic, like, on backgrounds, like, say, like, someone like Oda who just fucking excels in it and does gorgeous shit, and it's nothing to the level where it's like Kubo, where it's just white the entire time, but it's like this nice little balance between the two. But what she really excels at, like, than any other one, is this, you feel the kinetic energy, like, from, like, the panels, from the techniques. Like, it really reminds me a lot when they were using it as, like, you think of, like, the stuff with, like, Koha, when he was using that giant Zangetsu, like, extending blade, or, like, when Alibaba was doing, like, swinging and flames were coming out, or Koen using, like, his, like, Jujutsu quit, same thing with Sinbad. You, like, the way how she always conveys it is, like, you can, like, feel, like, the explosion, like, the sheer just force coming out of the page, and that's a lot already from, like, the actual first one, and I loved it. It was like, I forget what the actual technique was called, but it was just that, and it was like, I'm gonna use this, every part of my might, the fucking pole bends, and just, ooh, just clean it in fucking half. And I was like, that's all I wanted to see. And he's just standing proud, and he's like, you know what, we're just gonna accomplish our goals. And it's just like, I don't want to be a bushi on my own. Like, and even after that, I take care of this. I want to have an adventure. I want to, like, you know, shit is bad when you're on your own. Food tastes bad, like that. It'll be boring. Come on, man. Like, let's go with me. And he's just like, let's me and you do it together. And he's like, sure, why not? And then the chapter, like, ends where it's like, there's the big boy just shows up, where it's like the Kishin that it's called, where it's like he's one of the top Oni brass, and I'm like, alright, like, and you just see this, I don't even know what the hell to describe it. It looks like a skeleton of an Ava unit. It's the best way to describe it, this weird thing, and it's like, on top of the mountain, it's like, you should probably run. That's probably the best idea on that, but fantastic. Like, I really enjoyed the first chapter of this. I'm just happy that I was like, out of everything that I was going to read and all that, like, out of all of them, it was like, I had a lot of high expectations to this one. I was like, man, I really hope this one's good. And for a first chapter, it was strong. Like, it definitely delivered on everything I want to see. I want to learn more about the world. I want to know more about the characters, and I hope the cast is as good as Magi. That was one of Magi's strongest points. Was I loved every part of the cast, and so far we only know a little bit about Musashi, and we only know a tiny bit of Kojiro, but I just can't wait for more and all that, and I just love some of the stuff that she was doing in some of the past. But let me know what you guys think about Orient down below. I definitely want to keep talking about this. If it's as good as this and all that, then I want to talk about this. Maybe make it something weekly like I was doing with Magi. But all from me, thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.